coach. Y'all won 9 out of 10. What's been the big reason that A&M has won that many games heading into the stretch?
We've just played consistent baseball for the most part, and whenever one side has lacked, the other one, fortunately for us on those days, has picked it up, which you can never plan for or account for. You just want to try to play your best at every spot of the game, and there's been games where it's all clicked and we've played really well. So it's just complementary baseball, whether we need to win by offense, defense, pitching. We've gotten pretty consistent in those facets of the game, including base running, that just you want to be good at many parts, and we've, for the most part, have been.
Is it a little more exciting as a hitting coach with the hitting lineup that you have to go up against the kind of pitching staff that they have and have that kind of matchup, offensive pitching matchup?
You mean have some decent players, or you feel good about it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's having really good players will make a hell of a coach out of a lot of people. So it's definitely a luxury on both sides of the ball to have some really talented guys, but also bought into an approach and a plan. And these guys have just done a great job. Like, they're out there doing it. They're out there executing. Hitting is a lot harder than people think, especially when you're in the box, and especially how the game is today and the different types of pitches. So yeah, definitely we got some really talented players, and we're really fortunate to have them. And but at the same time, Auburn has just as talented players, and every weekend in the SEC. So it's not about the talent level; it's about execution and playing pitch to pitch.
Auburn's pitching staff really right-handed, similar to what you saw from Florida. So what can you take from last weekend's series to help you face yet another elite pitching staff?
Yeah, I mean, they're right-handed, we're right-handed. I mean, that's just what it is, right? We don't have as many left-handed hitters. I think matchups can come into a play, but if you're going to be one-sided, I guess, if you are, which we're not completely. We're going to have 3 lefties in the lineup at least, and right-handers grow up facing right-handers way more than lefties face lefties. It's just what it is. But just a really good pitching staff, right? And we've been tested, right? We've faced some left-handed teams, right-handed teams. In the end, the ball has to cross the plate, and you must hit a strike and hit it hard. So try not to make too much of it. But they are really good. I mean, I say it every weekend. I'm like, they might be the best. They might be the best. I don't know, right? It's not for me to judge. It's just every weekend when I go to prepare for these guys, it's just like, geez, it just never stops, right? That's life in the SEC. And these guys, if you look at pure statistics, believe they're the best at not walking people, throwing strikes, limiting damage. Just a very, very complete pitching staff, whether it be right-handed or left-handed. Those guys get the job done for sure.
Is there a game or a series or even a week maybe you can point back to where you feel like your team really found itself and formed that identity that it's been able to carry through?
I can't, and I think wins and losses for people outside the building, which understandably may point to that, I feel like we set that foundation in the fall. I really did, and this season when we lost some games early on, I always left, as weird as it sounds, more encouraged than discouraged, because I always felt like, all right, if we just play better, we're good enough to beat who we just lost to, period, right? It's not like out-skilled, out-willed. Like, we just didn't play great baseball that day. Or maybe the other team just played better. So I don't have a series to point to. I just think it's a body of work and a collection of a group of guys that have bonded together at a high level early. And being a close team is great. You still have to be good. You still have to play good. And they've done that from day one, and they've made the adjustments. And so, no, I can't directly point to a single game. I just think it's a body of work, and these guys just every day embracing the monotony of being a good player, and that's just routine-based stuff and doing, the common things uncommonly well.
When y'all played Auburn last year in the SEC tournament, obviously y'all won that game. What has kind of been like the biggest improvement that you've seen from last year from this year on their side?
I mean, they were good. They had young guys playing, and we want to be like that in the future, right? We want our freshmen to develop into what they develop into, and they played some freshmen last year, and they always have good arms, and they still have good arms. So I think they're just, with those guys returning, they're they were really good last year, so I want to say a better version. They're just a really good baseball team that's really well coached.
What part of Aiden's performances this year has maybe surprised you the most, or stood out at least to you the most?
Just the ability the role he had last year, very limited. Like, he pitched a lot on Wednesdays, you know what I mean? And he his outings last year were, they were just fine, right? Like, I think just the ability to step into that weekend rotation and be a guy and be one of the best pitchers in the SEC. I think that's a credit to him and the coaching staff that he works with to get him to this point. But, mostly to him, to having the belief in himself to be what he was last year as a freshman, which is pretty typical, especially on the mound in this league, and for him to believe that he can do it. And there's a lot of guys that are talented in the SEC. You'll see some freshmen come into games, whether the game's out of hand one way or another, and you're like, look at this guy, look at that guy. But I think Aiden's ability to believe in himself and be comfortable in his own skin and know he belongs, that's a huge part of the reason why he's had so much success this year.
See the hat you're wearing. Just what do you hope this weekend means for what y'all are doing with the Massey Foundation, and just why that's a cause that is dear to your heart?
Yeah, so I mean, you see it. I believe it's like the 8th inning. Maybe every game it pops up on the scoreboard. That's just the foundation that I'm working with as part of the university allows me to do, which is super grateful for that. And then just a family that we're close to. Mark was an awesome kid, really good friend of my son, classmate, rode bikes together, something that hit close to home, and we've become, close with Brian and Allie, and they're just phenomenal people, right? And, what they're going through, their choice was they want to help other families, right? And they want to, eventually put a stop to any other families having to go through this. So I'm just proud to be a part of it. I'm glad they let me be a part of it. And yeah, it's just, it's a great thing by great people, both Aggie graduates, just people that are, just living here in this community. Like, you meet so many good people, and they're just 2 of them, and they went through some stuff, and we just want to be there for them and now support them as they're moving this forward. And it'll be something that'll be synonymous with A&M baseball, and I hope it will continue to grow and get bigger, and we want to eventually, stop this thing so other families don't have to go through it.
What do you remember most about Mark, and just maybe the friend he was to your son?
Yeah, I mean, when you got kids, I don't know how many of you guys have kids, but you want them to hang around good people. And that was always my impression of him. You just like, oh, that kid's a good kid, right? And, I only interacted with him a few times. I don't really hang out with Marshall and his friends when they're around each other, but he doesn't want that even when they were 10 years old. But just a great kid and someone that he enjoyed being around. And when you have kids and they love someone, you kind of fall into that too, and you just care for them, because when your son or your kids or anyone cares for someone, that holds a special place in your heart.
What have you seen from Wes in his last 2 outings, and just the way he's pitched those last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I thought he's done well, right? He's given us a chance to win, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if he's come out in the 4th or the 5th in both, or the 5th in one, but to that point, he did really well. So if a guy can get you into the 7th, awesome. But wherever a guy gets you to, you want him to do well. Maybe it's the 2nd, maybe it's the 3rd. He's put us in a spot in those games early on where we're not, to the best of my memory, we're not chasing, or it's not out of hand. So he's definitely, as you can see, taken a step forward, and I still think there's another gear for him to maybe get a little further. But for now, I love the job he's doing and the way he's competing and throwing strikes.
When you look back at the Texas series, you had, all these different coaches, Bucky, all the different coaches. I mean, you look at all the different sports, coaches are showing up for all kinds of different sports. What is it about? That hasn't always been a thing here. What is it about it now that, these coaches y'all seem to have a pretty tight fraternity?
Yeah, it's pretty cool what Trev's been able to do, just the communication. And, we have head coaches meetings where it's all the head coaches. We just had one a few days ago, and just the transparency that, Trev's the leader of this athletic department, and he's just done a phenomenal job on the communication part, putting us all in the same room. We're all on the same page. In the end, we all work for Texas A&M, so we all want to have the same message as far as how it goes to the university, athletic department, all of that. And when you're around those people and you get to hear them speak, you get to see how cool it is, other head coaches, other perspectives, just some extremely highly intelligent people in there. And I'm not saying I'm one of them, but I've got to learn from some of those guys. I remember the first time I got to hear Coach Elko speak, I was like, wow, super impressive, right? Just he's a football coach, right? But that's a highly, highly intelligent person. And that's for every guy. Trisha's awesome, all of them. And they're just cool, right? They, in this job, you don't have a lot of, there's not a ton of relatable people. It's just is what it is, comes with the territory. So to for Trev to be able to facilitate that and make it important has made everyone feel like it's important. So I just think he's doing a really good job of keeping us together and putting us in the same room. And you know, again, we're all fighting for the same goal. We all want to win a national championship for Texas A&M. A few programs have, and we want some more to do it.
I know you're a big Apple weather guy, so I'm not asking you for a forecast.
Yeah.
But what's the process going to look like to
Hold on, let
make
me-
a decision this weekend, and then how could that potentially impact your pitching?
I can feel Max Crawford crashing.
I'm trying. Is he? Yeah, Max. He don't like Apple, I'm sure. They got all their gadgets, right? So. Yeah, you know, I can't forecast anything. If I'm a weatherman, I'll just stay on the fence, right? It could rain, it could not, and I'll always be right. So that's where I'm at with that one. Other than that, from a pitching standpoint, yeah, I mean, anytime if you potentially have to play 2 games in one day, it can, you know, it can change things. But you can't think of it like that. You just got to play the game. It's just like when we played. You never know what's going to happen. Like I remember we played Vanderbilt, our doubleheader this year. After the Friday game, JK's in there mapping out all these scenarios. You always look worst case, like this, map it out, map out the innings if you can. And then the game always makes another decision, and it never. So you just got to you got to play each game to play each game. You got to win when you can win, just like you would any other day.
And we obviously didn't see him play on Tuesday, but how's Chris after running into Jorian last weekend?
Yeah, I mean he seems a lot better to me. I actually saw him today. He looks like he's moving around. He moved around a lot better yesterday. He actually even got he had to have a root canal from when he got hit in the face, and he was, again, I can't speak on the kid's toughness enough. Like he was in the cage hitting. I've never had a root canal. I've heard it's not a great experience, but I would, you know, be highly likely that he plays. I can't foresee him not, but I haven't seen him move around today yet.
What was the biggest issue with him after Sunday?
He just got hit in that bone really hard. We got an X-ray to rule out a fracture, which he did not have, and it's just I don't know how you would feel, but if Jorian Wilson ran into me at full speed, I'd be sitting down doing this press conference. So I think that was part of it. Like a guy got hit by a defensive end, full speed, right in the bone. So, and bones are bones, right? You can't inject him or make him feel better. But he's on some medicine. He's been getting treatment. They've been doing a good job with him.